are you going to get angry about people dancing? How? Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. To all of my house guests, come in, make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. Well guys, it looks like many feathers have been ruffled this week, so let's see what happened. Red was definitely this week's colour, as the UK media was absolutely seething with rage following Harry and Meghan's undeniably hugely successful trip to Nigeria. But before I get into that, let's remind ourselves of what Tom Bower said regarding Charles's feelings towards Africa around the time of his visit to Kenya.
In Kenya, it's a significant state visit. Do you think he enjoys these occasions? Is he enjoying his new job as king?
I fear not. I mean, he never liked going to Africa. He was forced to go to Africa shortly before he became king because he neglected the Commonwealth. He liked going to the white Commonwealth countries. He liked going a lot to India, but he avoided Africa if he could. But
why?
Well, he just didn't find it culturally very interesting, whereas he was very interested in the culture of India. And the real truth is, Camilla doesn't like travelling long distances. I think he does find it very difficult now. He doesn't look as if he's enjoying the job, having waited so long for it. But in the end, you see, the Commonwealth will fall apart unless he works hard at it.
So, as you heard, Tom Bower stated what apparently Charles believes with regard to Africa. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, I have to concur with Tom Bower. I don't like this guy. I don't, take stock in anything that he says, but the reason I concur with him is because he says what I've been saying all along with regard to the Commonwealth. So I don't understand why William and Charles are apoplectic with rage because of this tour. It's not a royal tour. That's the media that have dubbed it that. Harry and Meghan represented themselves. They've got interests over there that have nothing to do with the royal family. So it's not their fault that it's been dubbed a royal tour. But again, Charles and William are so stubborn. They're angry. And Charles needs to be careful because this cancer could be exacerbated by the stress and anger that he's experiencing. All of his own doing, because really and truly, you have control over your anger. Why are you so angry? Anyway, here's the article. This article is from themirror.co.uk on the 17th of May, 2024. And apparently, Mirror readers are unimpressed with Harry and Meghan's Nigeria tour. Very little about Invictus. Now, I don't know where they get their information from, okay, but I saw quite a lot with regard to Invictus. So much online. And that's not the only reason they went there. They have other interests there. And this is the article. This is the part of the article that I actually want to read. So when you talk about seeing red, apparently this is what William and Charles feel about the whole thing. According to royal author Tom Quinn, who told the Mirror that William is absolutely furious about the royal stint. These people. While Charles is said to be angrier than anyone has ever seen him, he added, what's really upset the apple cart is the fact that the Nigerians treated Meghan and Harry as if they too thought this was an official tour. All the signs were there as the couple were greeted with dances, receptions, visits to schools and charities. Okay, a couple of observations. Well, maybe more than a couple. But visits to schools and charities. You mean the schools and charities that the Archwell Foundation supports? Those ones. Nothing to do with the royal family. Okay. Dances and receptions. So effectively, Charles can't stand Africa, but he's upset because he only likes the entertainment aspect. He doesn't like the culture. He doesn't find the culture interesting, but he's upset because Harry and Meghan were greeted with dances and receptions. Can you see the mentality, the colonial mindset of these people in the 21st century? And it's not going to go away, guys. Just accept the fact that this colonial mindset is permanent, is ingrained generationally into certain families, okay? As a descendant of slaves, I'm not here for your entertainment, okay? I am not here for your entertainment. That's what you think we're here for. But we are not here to entertain you. Dances and these receptions, these dinners or whatever, they are a courtesy extended to Harry and Meghan out of respect. And you'd be stupid to think that Harry and Meghan don't appreciate these things. I know what I've seen online, and this is not mainstream media footage. This is actual personal footage of certain events. The arrogance of Charles, the arrogance of William. They will never get the reception that Harry and Meghan get in these countries. And that's why they're angry. That's the real reason, okay? William and Charles will never, ever be received well. Not anymore, not in these countries. I mean, let's take when they went to the Caribbean, and this is William and Kate, when they were shaking hands through the fencing, the wire fencing. What kind of, I mean, the optics of that were absolutely horrendous. Can you see Harry and Meghan doing any such thing? In fact, there are some photos I'm going to put in this video or some video footage where they're really in amongst the people. And this is why Harry and Meghan will be revered, not in a godlike way, but people appreciate when you interact with them. I said this last week. People by people, okay? It doesn't matter what you're selling. You could sell the most sophisticated or prestigious piece of equipment, whatever goods or services you're selling. If you're not a nice person, I, for one, am not going to be interested in dealing with you. I don't care how good the product or service is, whatever you're promoting. If I pick up energy that is fake, I cannot deal with you. Now, if you're honest with yourself, if these people were picking up fake energy, wherever Harry and Meghan go, okay, they always get a good reception. In the UK, Meghan doesn't. We already know why. But the audacity of Charles and William getting angry is just pure jealousy. That's all it is. How are you going to get angry about people dancing? How? What's that? You know, you got the likes of Kelvin Mackenzie, the editor of, I can't remember, one of these red top tabloids. a couple of weeks ago in a debate with Tessa Dunlop, who was defending Meghan, her choice not to come to the UK with Harry. And Kelvin Mackenzie's like, oh, why doesn't she just come and wave to us? Wave to who? Wave to who, please? She was at Heathrow in the lounge, chilling, waiting for Harry. You lot didn't even see her. And if Harry and Meghan can construct a way for them to meet, for him to go to Toronto and see her while she's working on Suits, and no one knew about their relationship for the best part of a year, 18 months. I don't know the exact length of time. You think that a little trip to London en route to Nigeria is going to be an issue for them? They're not dumb. You know, for as much as people say, oh, they said they want their privacy, they understand what being high profile, what that comes with, but there's a level of privacy they should be entitled to, especially when it comes to their kids and their private life. To this day, I don't even know what day we are. Kate, no one's asking about Kate and her whereabouts. I already gave my theory on that, and I still hold to that, because if her parents aren't talking, I don't understand what... It can't be that bad if her parents aren't saying anything. The only thing is, it's got to be with regard to her appearance, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm ready to be proved wrong. But sticking with, you know, this whole issue of people are crazy. People are absolutely crazy. I don't understand. You know, I never will understand, to be quite honest. It just fascinates me that in a society where people claim to be civilized and we're supposed to be grown adults, that the majority, and I'm going to say the majority because what I see online is a majority of people behaving like even children behave better than this. You know, there's been so many YouTube channels springing up with you know, a lot bigger than mine. They've started later than me, but they're a lot bigger than mine, because it just goes to prove the point that if you jump on the bandwagon of toxic commentary about this couple, you will make money. I'm not about to jump on that bandwagon. I'm happy doing what I'm doing, because I don't feel negatively towards Harry and Meghan, and I will say that all day, every day. If they go and commit murder, then we'll have a different conversation, okay? But until then, I will support them until they prove me wrong, which, you know, at the rate they're going, they're all right. They're okay. So Charles and William being angry, they need to focus on, first of all, Charles needs to focus on his health and stop being angry. And William needs to stop cavorting around the place and look after his wife and his kids. That's what he needs to concentrate on. Because Harry and Meghan aren't thinking about them in terms of what they're doing. Regarding the Sussex's trip, my daughter called me last night because she'd heard about what the UK press was saying about Harry and Meghan. So she directed me to this TikTok clip.
Couple do their stupid, weird, pretend royal tour of that African country.
Nigeria is, you know, poverty-stricken.
Yes, in a country where most people earn £1.50 a day.
I mean, Nigeria is a country that has a lot of problems, and I'm not sure many can be solved on the polo field.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Nigeria is listed around sort of the 9th most dangerous country in the world.
Suggested that his family wouldn't be safe in Britain. Nigeria is a much more lawless country.
Now, he's gone to that country there, where it's an extremely dangerous place.
I mean, everybody knows.
Princess.
Yeah, well,
A warrior princess.
They've gone to the right place if they want to expand their cohort of fake royals, because Nigeria is flush with people who claim to be members of the royal family.
What is the basketball court going to do, Mike? What is the basketball court going to do?
Well, I mean, I guess they're going to say, well, it's going to help people use athletics to reach out from poverty and make themselves into superstars in the NBA.
It really keeps them in touch with the bib when they're watching Nigerian polo too, right?
Who knew there was such a thing?
Visits are very carefully chosen. And I'll tell you this, you'll know this, Michael, you've been on enough royal tours. There's no way
our royal family would set foot in Nigeria.
Well, I think Nigeria is known to be one of the most lawless countries in the world, and it's
problems, dangerous
poverty,
least safe
is poverty.
African country.
problems, dangerous
poverty,
least safe
is poverty.
African country.
problems, dangerous
poverty,
least safe
is poverty.
African country.
So, Nigeria's unsafe because girls, women are kidnapped and violated. No one's denying that these things have taken place, and it's absolutely horrendous. But how are you going to explain it differently to the family and friends of Sarah Everard? On the evening of the 3rd of March 2021, 33-year-old Sarah Everard was kidnapped in South London as she was walking home to the Brixton Hill area from a friend's house near Clapham Common. She was stopped by off-duty Metropolitan Police Constable Wayne Cousins, who identified himself as a police officer. He handcuffed her and placed her in his car before transporting Everard to Dover. Dover is in Kent, for those of you who are not familiar with the geography, well outside of London. Cousins subsequently R-worded her and strangled her before burning her body, guys, and disposing of her remains in a pond in nearby woodland. So immediately that says to me he derived great pleasure from going to all this trouble. Depravity, okay? And please don't tell me that this is a rare occurrence, because this happens too frequently in London or in big cities. Another example of this is what happened to Zara Alina. Now, by her name, you know that she's not what you would call typically English, okay? So this piece says, and before I even say that, this didn't get as much coverage as the Sarah Everard case for reasons which are fairly obvious to me, but I will leave you to make up your minds. On 26th of June 2022, Zara Alina was SA'd and murdered as she was walking home in Ilford, London by Jordan McSweeney. The murder attracted attention after it was discovered McSweeney had committed numerous other offences and should have been recalled to prison. Alina had begun working at the Royal Courts of Justice 5 weeks before her death. Around 2 a.m. on 26th of June, Alina left a bar on Ilford High Street close to Ilford railway station and began walking up Cranbrook Road towards Valentine's Park. At the same time, McSweeney had been thrown out of a bar for harassing staff and had subsequently approached several other women. At 2:17 a.m, Alina was violently attacked by McSweeney on Cranbrook Road. She was discovered collapsed on a driveway, struggling to breathe, and was taken to Royal London Hospital, where she died of her injuries. Do you want another example of how women are treated by, let's say, men? Not all men, obviously, okay? Depraved men. Men that are sick in the head, including Andrew Windsor. When you look at his behaviour when it comes to young girls and his inappropriate actions, which the media don't question, and I'm going to put my head above the parapet here, and I'm saying they don't question it because I guess it could be argued that some of them have the same inclinations and tendencies and therefore don't want to be exposed themselves. Have I gone too far? It needs to be said, because they pussyfoot around this issue so much. They don't talk about Andrew, and there has to be a reason why. He has no respect for women. Forget about the fact that he's got 2 daughters of similar age to when he was doing these things with these young girls underage. Disgusting. What kind of mind do you have to have? Where does your mind go to want to do these kinds of things? So when you talk about how women are treated, you know, yeah, look at Nigeria, look at all these other countries, but don't point the finger when you've got 3 pointing back at you, UK. Have a very selective memory when it comes to this. Now, turning our attention to how women and young girls are actually supported, let's see what Meghan was doing well before she came into the royal family. So here we have World Vision documenting some of the work that Meghan had undertaken before she met Harry. And here are a couple of examples. Meghan Markle brings clean water to Rwanda. The Duchess of Sussex, obviously not called that in 2016, visited a school in Rwanda soon after becoming a World Vision ambassador in 2016. Clean water, a counsellor, and help for girls who start their periods mean that young girls in Rwanda can feel safe to attend school. Meghan helped bring clean water to a community thanks to the donations of ordinary people worldwide. She was inspired by how this empowered women and girls within the community. And here's a YouTube video. And then it goes on to talk about her time in India. Meghan Markle promotes women's rights in India. In 2017, Meghan travelled again as a World Vision Global Ambassador, this time to India. Continuing to advocate strongly for gender equality, Meghan focused on bringing greater awareness to girls' education. She met with local activists and educators to talk about improving access to girls' latrines, a significant problem for 63 million teenage girls in India. Let's also look at Harry and Meghan's involvement with Nigeria well before this most recent trip, and bear in mind, guys, that Meghan disclosed her ancestry in 2022 and not in recent weeks. And for some reason, the UK media have a problem with this, because before she wasn't white enough, now she's too black. This article is from thenews.com.pk, published on the 27th of September 2023. The date is significant because obviously this was not last week. The headline reads, Prince Harry, Meghan Markle make significant donation to Duchess's homeland. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle detailed their support to school-going girls in Nigeria via their foundation. The philanthropic couple detailed collaboration between their foundation, the Archwell Foundation, and the Gianco Foundation to help young girls in Nigeria return to school. As students around the world returned to school this month, the Archwell Foundation supported girls' education and health by sending school supplies and menstrual products to young scholars in Nigeria, with the Gianco Foundation read a statement on Archwell's official website. For the unversed, the Duchess of Sussex previously revealed she was 43% Nigerian on her podcast last year, that is 2022. They went on to explain the purpose of Gianco, aimed at providing critical healthcare and education services in the country. One of its scholarship programs, David Oyelowo Leadership Scholarship, offers full tuition, medical care, as well as social and emotional support, particularly to young girls who are victim to terrorism and gender inequality, according to the statement. And then it goes on to talk about what is actually included in the program. I have to thank Michael Palin for taking the time to make this documentary, because I truly have learned a lot.
And after a total of 8 hours driving, I finally arrive in the historic city of Benin, and it's loud. Home to 2 million people, Benin is crowded and not exactly calm. In the centre of the city is a large and very noisy roundabout. Surrounding it are several imposing statues. A reminder that for 1,000 years, this place was once a powerful kingdom, renowned for its bronze work. There is also a reminder of the time when British soldiers invaded Benin and burnt it to the ground.
doing here? I want to talk to you.
Well,
I want to talk to you about these white people, what they did to us in this land.
as we're filming the statues, a local woman grabs my attention.
So, what are you doing here?
Well, we're just in Benin. We're doing a program trying to understand Nigeria better. I've never seen a statue like that, where the British people are actually being killed in a statue. So I was kind of...
Because we are more than them. When it comes to war, we have the natural power, the natural strength.
She's telling me about the 1897 raid on Benin, when 1,000 British soldiers engaged in a vicious and deadly battle here. The Kingdom of Benin was then destroyed in retaliation for the killing of several British officers a few weeks earlier.
They went down to the palace and took all our artifacts. That was how we kept our records. They took all these things away and put in British Museum today. We are telling them they should give us our artifacts because they are our ancestors.
Yeah. After destroying Benin, the British took thousands of ancient bronze castings from the city and sold them around the world. 900 of them are at the British Museum, and Nigeria wants them back.
They should give us back our artifacts.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I don't have any authority to get them brought back, but I can tell people how strongly you feel.
We are. Let them go back to this land, please.
Well, I've only just arrived in Benin, so it's a lot to take in, but thank you. That's very powerful. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Goodbye. What's your name? What's your name?
Eddie Crown, Asia.
Ah, right. Okay, I'm Michael. Eddie Crown turns out to be a very nice English teacher, but she tells me most people in Benin feel very strongly about the bronzes being returned. Well, that was quite an encounter. I mean, the statue itself is pretty outspoken, but she put it into context, what they feel here in Benin. I mean, I felt slightly ambushed because I've only just arrived here, but it clearly, you know, they've got very, very strong feelings. The tradition of bronze casting is still very much alive in Benin, and to discover more about it, I take a walk down Egon Street. This has been the home of bronze casting in Benin for centuries, and many of the ancient statues in the British Museum would have been made here. Down a small alley behind the shops is the outdoor workshop where the casting still takes place. How do you do, sir? How do you do? Very pleased to be here. Chief Kingsley Inne is the president of the Egon Street Bronze Casters. Did this start here in Benin, making these bronzes in this way?
Yes, way back, more than 2,000-3,000 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been pretty long, you know. So
has it been copied elsewhere, or is there a secret to it that only the...
No, there is a secret to it.
Yeah.
Everybody here on the street are one family.
As president of the guild, Chief Inne is involved in the negotiations between Nigeria and Britain over the return of the Benin bronzes. There must be a lot of bad feeling in Benin about the British keeping the bronzes.
We are happy. We've been talking about the reparation. But we are happy now that people are giving considerations and the works are beginning to return them.
Eventually, the statues are revealed to be the King and Queen of Benin from almost 1,000 years ago. Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Something so graceful can be just bashed about like that.
So on behalf of the guild and the community, I hand over this Oba to you. This is the one we just casted.
Well,
so
thank you.
You can have it.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Which is hot. Yes.
It's still hot.
It is absolutely lovely, but it seems a very odd thing that you should be giving Benin bronzes back to the British. You know. Very beautiful, very beautiful. And this is
the king.
Yeah. Very fine indeed. Thank you very, very much.
Okay.
I really appreciate you letting us see the process.
Okay.
Although the British Museum is in discussions with Nigeria, as yet none of their bronzes have been returned. I'm very aware of the complex but enduring relationship our two countries have, and hopefully this issue can be resolved.
So my question is, if the UK establishment loathes Africa so much, why, oh why, do you hang on for dear life to artifacts that you stole centuries ago and behave as though they belong to you? Not only that, you house them in the British Museum, where almost all of these artifacts on display are not even British. Does that make sense to anyone? Am I going mad? Am I losing my marbles? Okay, we want to talk about the subject of corruption. Let me tell you, Britain is way up there. Okay. People turn a blind eye to Charles taking substantial sums of money from dodgy businessmen, or the government selling arms to countries who commit genocide. But we're just supposed to blindly accept that this doesn't go on because we're told we live in a civilized society. If you want to talk about the poverty issue, let's look at why footballers and entertainers feel the urgent need to campaign for children in 21st century Britain to have free school meals because their parents cannot afford to feed them. Meanwhile, our unelected Prime Minister's fortune of hundreds of millions has just been disclosed on the rich list. But he would want you to believe that everything is hunky-dory and everyone in this country is given an equal chance. And it's simply not true. What an absolute joke. And staying with the financial theme, the cretins at the UK tabloid media were salivating while delivering more false information about the Archwell Foundation being delinquent. Here is what the governor of California had to say about the matter.
Unbelievable amount of attention that has been placed on the Archwell Foundation. I'm here at a behavioral health site, a mental health site. Archwell Foundation, run by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, do extraordinary work, particularly women and girls, but notably around mental health. And I just want folks to know, not only are they in compliance, it was a technical paperwork issue that was wildly hyped. And with respect, I hope people that ran those headlines run this headline, that it was a very typical technical issue around paperwork that persists for so many others as well, and they're in full compliance, and they're a celebrated organization that does great work in the state of California. So I wanted to clarify that because that's important, and I just thought there was a little bit of a piling on that was deeply unfair.
So while the media was seeing red about Harry and Meghan, the rest of us were seeing red when it came to Charles's latest portrait. Initial feelings were that it was satanic, and others were reminded of Tampon Gate. I'm not going to go into the, I was going to say ins and outs, but that seems a bit inappropriate. I'm not going to go into the detail of what that is. You can do a quick Google search if you don't know what I'm talking about, but just know that it involves his side piece, Camilla. Oh, sorry, his wife, Camilla, sorry. Now, the only adjective I can use for this piece of art is disturbing. And this piece of art needs not to be on display, even though I suspect we are likely to have paid for it. Like I said before, what an absolute joke. Now, all that being said, this is another week where it's evident that the UK media have no regard whatsoever for the future Queen. who, as we are reminded periodically, is way above Meghan in the pecking order. But isn't it funny, guys, that Meghan has much more influence? It stretches far beyond what she wears, what she endorses, what she says, what she eats, where she goes. Because without Meghan, certain members of this putrid UK media would literally struggle to make ends meet in what they have dubbed a cost of living crisis. Okay guys, I don't have that much more to add, so here's where I wrap up the video. But before I go, I want to say a huge thanks to all new subscribers who hit that button in the last 7 days on the back of my video last Sunday. You are very much appreciated, and you are very much welcome as my new house guests. All of my house guests, I appreciate every single one of you, so thank you. Secondly, today you get 2 videos, not just one. You get a bonus video to mark Harry and Meghan's 6th wedding anniversary, which is the day of this upload, 19th of May. It's about 3.5 minutes. If you haven't seen it already, I'll link it in the description box below so you can go and check that out. And finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every single one of you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you shall catch me in the next video.
In-laws. I'll skip the protocol because at this point we're all family. Firstly, thank you. Thank you for welcoming my wife and myself to Nigeria. It's our first visit. God bless you. It certainly won't be our last. Thank you for the naming ceremony. I don't know how I got dragged into that as well. But to be able to witness it next to my wife, it means a huge amount to both of us, but especially her. So
humbled, and today's Mother's Day. So it feels appropriate, that though of course we are missing our children and missing my babies, it feels very appropriate to be in the motherland and amongst family. So thank you so much for the kindness and for these beautiful names. I'm very grateful, and we can't wait to come back. Thank you so much.
You see the beautiful choir, and you see the